All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the MBA virtual information session. My name is Tom Crash. I'm our Director of Graduate Admissions, and I'll be your co-host for tonight. The event should take between 30 and 40 minutes. I know Dr. Mariani has a great presentation planned that'll help preview your experience in the program. This is a big life decision. A, choosing to go to grad school, and then B, deciding where you want to go. So we want to make sure we give you all the information you need to be able to make an informed decision. And that's where, why Dr. Mariani and I are here tonight. The event is being recorded, so whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording again, thank you so much for joining us. But before we go any further, Dr. Mariani, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, I'm Dr. Mariani. I'm the MBA Director and Professor of Marketing in Ziegler College of Business. So I want to say hi to everybody. It's nice to meet you. Some of you I know I already know, so it's good to see you. And I guess at the end of the presentation, we'll be able to do some questions. I'll be happy to answer whatever you have.
And Dr. Mariani, could you give us a little bit of information on your background and your area of specialty?
Yeah, sure. So my area of specialty is digital marketing. And my background is I've been teaching, I guess, for about 15, no, it's like 17 years now. I came from industry, so I'm from New York, and then I was also working in Florida for a while. My doctorate is in marketing, and then I have two other degrees in advertising and advertising design. So I'm more on the creative side and the digital side of marketing.
Yeah, great. Well, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right, and we can kick off with honestly probably the most important question, right? We always want to put the most important information first, Dr. Mariani, as a marketing professional. Basically, what is the biggest difference? Why would a student want to do the MBA? What value does that provide beyond a bachelor's degree?
Sure. So an MBA obviously is going to open up more opportunities. So we have a couple of bullets that we have on the slide. So obviously leadership roles, executive roles, different things like that. Usually when you graduate an MBA, you can go right into really secure and very viable management positions. Higher salary, of course, is one. Also, what's nice is you can have an MBA and within 3 to 5 years be really making good leaps in salary. So where when you have just a bachelor's, it takes a little bit longer. Of course, there's the networking. We have amazing faculty, we have amazing alumni, and different opportunities that we offer at Commonwealth. Career flexibility, it does give you the opportunity to switch careers. It gives you the opportunity to move up, maybe somewhere, that you're already working. Horizontal, vertical moves also within companies. So it's a very versatile degree. And then, of course, you're going to get both soft and hard skills when you take our MBA. Our MBA teaches you how to be leaders, how to think critically, and things like that. But at the same time, much of our coursework has those hard skills. So how to use AI, which is a big topic right now, how to use Excel sheets, how to use Power BI, how to use different softwares within marketing, especially the digital world. Operations, we do a lot of different types of tools in those classes. So it's really, I think it's one of the things that lets us stand apart from other degree programs is that mixture of soft and hard skills.
Mhm. Yeah, and so there's so many important topics on this slide. So, the first one is always really important too. I view that as really the first two bullet points as this is an indication that this is a good investment in your future career, right? So for all of the, advanced positions, cabinet level positions, director management level positions, typically the minimum academic credential they're looking for is a master's. They're looking for the MBA. This is kind of the gold
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah,
So
and you'll see that too. So a lot of times people will graduate with a bachelor's, they start working, they're there 2, 3 years, and all of a sudden they hit a wall. They're like, I got to get the MBA. It's just it really does signal something, to management and things like that.
yep. So even if you may be a current undergraduate college student considering the MBA, thinking, oh, geez, but I'm not going to start off at a VP level. No, you won't, right? But you're going to need this
No,
credential sooner or later, right? So it's oftentimes better
you're
to get
gonna
it
need
early rather than later.
Yeah, and you're going to need it, and you're going to have to move faster. You'll be able to climb faster up the ladder, as they say, because you're already going to have that knowledge of multiple areas of business, and also you're taught both how to lead, manage, and create good organizations. I mean, that's what it comes down to. There's a job, and then there's a career, and the MBA kind of catapults you to that career. I guess, mentality, more momentum.
Yeah. And then the higher salary potential is obviously a huge deal. And
Mhm.
this is the degree that's going to pay for itself.
Yeah, you'll definitely graduate and make a better salary than you would if you just came out with a bachelor's degree, for sure, 100% on that.
Yeah, yeah, and also even beyond your first job, this is, you're going to be able to make more of the
Mhm.
course of your career. So again, just a tremendous investment, and the career flexibility is great too. And I know Dr. Mariani has worked hard to build out the different concentrations within the MBA, and that allows you to be able to say, you know what, I want to do something in business, but maybe not exactly what I'm doing right now. So this gives you a pivot point to be able to get from this lane to this lane. And we can talk more about the concentrations later
Mhm.
in the presentation, but there's our MBA program offers a lot. Yeah. And then from the view of 10,000 feet, Dr. Mariani, can you give us a quick overview?
Yeah, the first thing I'll say, the program goes really fast. It's so many times I'll meet with you. We set up your first, set of classes, and all of a sudden we're, applying for graduation. So the program goes very fast. It's made up of 12 classes, 36 credits. We have rolling start, so that means you really can start at any point in the year, so fall, spring, or summer. Our MBA, just like most graduate programs, you do take classes in the summer. One thing to keep in mind is that when we offer classes in summer, spring, or fall, that's when those classes are offered. So you always want to, keep that in mind, but we'll have a good relationship so we can, make sure your scheduling is correct. You can take 1 year, complete it in 1 year, which is the fast track. You can complete it in 2 years, which is the professional. If you're already in your, still as an undergrad right now, you can do the accelerated option, which allows you to come into the MBA program in your senior year and take up the core classes. And that's really great opportunity because 3 of those classes will be charged at an undergraduate fee, which is very nice. And then your fourth class will be your regular fee. It also offers, I don't know if you want to go into the concentrations here, but we offer 7 concentrations in total, and one of those is our build our own concentration. Perfect. Good transition. So we do have a concentration in accounting, and it's very good. It really looks at accounting from a leadership perspective. So if you were, say, an accounting student, or maybe you're in finance, or something in that field, our accounting concentration is really great. You do international business, controllership, data analytics, which is really big right now with accounting. So it's a very strong concentration. Analytics is the same thing. That teaches more like your Power B, a lot of hard skills you would gain from that concentration. Data is everything today, as we know. We have healthcare management. With that concentration, you'll learn about informatics, also another type of data analytics type class. And then we also have a special topics class, which will teach you how to use some of the hard skills, like Power B and different things like that. Our leadership and human resource class is probably one of our most popular. And that really, we have great professors that teach in that concentration too. And they really expose you to guest speakers, teach you how to lead people, how to motivate organizations. It looks at the human resource perspective of everything, how to hire, how to train, different things like that. Marketing, our marketing concentration is very good too. You'll look at roles that marketing managers would have. You'll look at how data is used in marketing. And then there's a really cool class called Behavioral Insights that looks at, basically what makes consumers tick. Strategic Global Decisions, the 3 classes in that brings you a global perspective of business. So there's actually a class called Global Business in that concentration, a decision models class where you really get to look at, data, information, and start to build strategy and critical thinking through those classes. And then our last one is general business. And general business is also one of our popular concentration. And what that does, it allows you to pick any 3 graduate classes within the university. So you can pick something maybe in sports management. As long as it's from a master's degree, you could pick any 3 classes. And a lot of students love that. Maybe you want to pick something in education or something in nursing. Maybe you want to pick, something from healthcare, accounting, and marketing. For instance, a great example is I have a lot of students that love data analytics. They just love it. So they'll take the accounting data analytics class, They'll take something, we have a market research and data analytics class, and then they might take something from the analytics concentration itself. So it's a real nice a la carte concentration that you can build and see what interests you.
Yeah, and you gave some great examples there of what the course subjects could entail. But yeah, it allows students to be able to personalize their degree. And then
Yeah.
from the curriculum perspective, could you walk us through the coursework?
Sure. So these are the actual classes that are in the core of the MBA program. So so we basically have 9 classes that are core and they never change. So you have like your what we call it the functions of business. So you have your accounting, you have your marketing, you have your management, those different types of classes that it's knowledge that you have to use in any field. You'll see once you enter the program, I've had over the years museum curators, I've had physicians, I've had a real vast, how would I say, different types of people within the program because of those core classes that introduce you to all those different things. We have a law class, torts, different things like that, kind of give you that perspective as a leader or an executive or a high level manager of what does it look like to run a brand, a company, a business. So we have those 9 classes, and then we have something called the MBA Practicum, and that's a bit of a special class too, because you can say maybe didn't do an internship in your undergrad. That's an opportunity where you can do an internship there. You can also take a fourth class for your concentration. So say you're really loving sports management and you do 3 and you build your own, and then you add a fourth with your practicum. So that class allows you to kind of build something special for yourself. It could be a paper. I've had students do like gap analysis reports and different things like that. So it's a very kind of class that you make it your own. And then in the summer, if you come in a way where you take the class in the summer, for instance, this summer when it starts, I usually teach that class. And for example, we're teaching artificial intelligence across business functions. So in that class, you'll look at AI in finance, you'll look at it in HR, how to use it for hiring. You'll look at it in operations, manufacturing, different things like that. So it's either something that has a very timely topic, like a special topics type class, or you can choose to take another class, graduate class, or your internship. The last thing we have, so this is just your core classes. We'll show you the concentration, as you know, is 3, which give you a total of 12 classes. The last thing you would take in your last semester is the outcomes assessment. It's a pass fail. You don't have to stress over it or anything like that. And it's basically an exit exam and survey that we use for accreditation. And you would just sign up for like a course. There's no fee, pass fail. As long as you complete it, you pass. So it's nothing you have to study for or anything. And that enables us to really look at our curriculum and see where we're performing well and maybe areas that we need to look at.
Yeah, and Dr. Mariani, so as we look at the MBA practicum, we may have people who are currently working and maybe wondering, oh my goodness, how am I going to, do a practicum while I'm working? Can you talk about the flexibility that's embedded in the practicum?
Yeah, sure. So we have some people who are employed full time, and you go into a couple of different routes. Like I said, you can take another class, another graduate class of your choice. In the summer, it's always a class, so there's not too much to worry about then. But you can also request a special project through your job. So you could do that if your supervisor is willing to set up a special project. We can treat it, do something like that. Again, if you want to do an internship, maybe you have the flexibility to do that, you can do that too. So really it's a special project, an internship, or you could take another graduate class of your choice.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then that gets us to the concentrations and how the coursework would fit into that.
Yeah, and that would complete your 12 classes. So you would have your 9 core, and then you would have your 3 concentration classes. Together, that would give you 36 credits total. So it goes pretty fast. If you were to do it in 1 year, you do, for example, maybe 4 courses in summer, 4 in fall, 4 in spring, and you're done. If you were doing it part-time, you could do it 2, 2, and 2, and then your second year, 2, 2, and 2 again. but you have up to 5 years to complete degree. So I really have a lot of students at many different, how would I say, tracks, completion tracks. So it really depends. It's meant to be flexible with your lifestyle. So whether you're a working adult already, or you're someone that, is doing your bachelor's, or maybe you just got done with your bachelor's and you would like to take the MBA, it enables you to be flexible because maybe the first semester you take 4 classes and the second semester you find your dream job. We just can go down to 2 classes or 1 class. So we do have that flexibility with the program, to do that, which is nice.
Yep. And then the course delivery, I know this is one of the best parts about our
Yeah.
program. Dr. Mariani, could you walk us through how students would be, receiving
Yeah.
the course?
Sure. So ideally, we want students to take, for instance, if we're doing fast track, if you finish in a year, you would take 4 classes a semester. Those classes are divided up into 6 weeks. So you would take 2 classes in the first 6 weeks of the semester, then you get about a week or two break, and then you would take your last 2 classes in the last 6 weeks of the semester. So it is how would you say, it goes quick because there are 6 week classes. It does cover a lot of content, but nothing overwhelmingly. They're also asynchronous, so you work at your own pace. Basically, you would go into the course, see when the due dates are. If working at 1 o'clock in the morning is good for you, you work at 1 o'clock in the morning, but you make sure you meet the due dates in the course. And then we use D2L, and all our courses have everything within D2L. So most of them will have all the curriculum in there, what textbooks you need, the syllabi. It's all set up and containered really nicely within the D2L or Desire to Learn platform. But essentially, they're 6 week courses. They're 100% online, and then they're taken asynchronously.
Yeah, and I know one of the things we always get really positive feedback on is the 6 week coursework. It
Yeah.
doesn't make it easier, but it makes it simpler, right? So instead of having,
Simpler.
4 courses that or 3 courses that run for 3.5 months that all run
Mhm.
simultaneously, you're breaking them up and it allows you
Yes.
to devote all of your time and attention to one subject. In an
Yes,
intense
exactly.
manner, but still allows you to hone your focus.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And this is an awesome, aspect of the MBA program, Dr. Mariani, that you started here just recently. And that's the East Second Street Digital Marketing Agency. Can you explain what that is and how this may impact students' role in the MBA?
Absolutely. So eSecond Street Digital is basically a student-led agency. We actually started, it's going to be 2 years in June. And what it does, it gives opportunities because some students do not, have the opportunity. Maybe they don't have transportation. Who knows what life situations we're all in. And what it does, it gives you the opportunity to work virtually. Sometimes we have on-site, but it's primarily a virtual opportunity where you work with real clients. And we have clients throughout the country, and we also work with a lot of clients, around our university, so Mansfield, Lock Haven, and Bloomsburg. And you get to work all about marketing. We do have people that do project management and people who are, organizing things. So we kind of have we get students from all over. It's pretty amazing, from all different backgrounds. And essentially, you're introduced to a client for that semester and you get to work with them on their campaign. So a great example right now, we're working with Bloomsburg Children's Museum. We're using Buffa tools, so we don't get to use that in class. So this is something that they will give you access, and then I oversee everything. And we work together with them, and we get to actually post on social media. We get to look at social sentiment. We get to track analytics. Like I have a team of 2 individuals who does our analytics. We have another client, Auxilium, I can never say it, Payee Services. They're located out of Philadelphia. We did a website build for them. We're now working on their social pages. We have another client that we work, they're actually at Oklahoma. And we do all their meta work. So a lot of Instagram, Facebook, and then some TikTok. So it's pretty exciting. You get real hands-on experience. So far, everyone that's joined the agency has got full-time employment. So, and we're going to have another cohort graduating now. Our fingers are crossed that we'll get them, good jobs too. And we're starting to build relationships with companies like WebEx, to try and create a pool. So it's just interesting. And we have also adults who are working and they might do it because we meet once a week. It's not a terrible amount of work, but they get to get experience that they might not be also getting at their place of employment. So it opens a lot of doors and opportunities.
Yeah, no, this is outstanding work that is,
Yeah.
just the huge, an important part of the MBA student experience. And I guess this is some additional information on our students who are involved in the agency.
Yeah, so just some of our students right now, Megan's on the left, she's graduating. She's working with one of our clients in Philly. Keegan here, I believe he's graduating soon too. He's working with our client in Oklahoma. And Hallie is leading a team of 5 people, and she's kind of doing account direction, I guess you could call it, or account executive or account director I have there with the Children's Museum in Bloomsburg, which is really great. That one is turning into a really awesome experience for all of them. So she's actually at a point because we do set you up with real positions. So she was at a point where she was ready to start leading people. And she has a team of 5 under her. We have another student, Grace. She has a team of 3 under her. She's doing Pump House or a wedding venue. So she's directing them in their social media. So it's pretty great doing brochures, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, all embedded in the experience. And on top of that, or in addition to that, is your approach to the curriculum and the high impact experiences. Can you walk us through what that might include?
Sure. For the practical approach, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you broke up a little bit.
Yeah, for the practical approach and some of the high impact experiences that may be embedded in the
Oh
curriculum.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I will say every class has a lot of high impact experiences. I know, for instance, in our leadership class, our organizational behavior HR class, they bring in a lot of guest speakers. They do sometimes contests, different things like that, chamber type engagements for our operations classes. They sometimes take trips, like they'll go to Yingling. Yingling, did I say it right?
You
Yingling.
did. Yes. Yep.
They'll go there. They do a lot of hands-on training with Excel and different softwares that you would use in manufacturing and logistics, different things like that. Digital marketing. We have a digital marketing class in the core. You get certificates, certifications. So there's a lot of great, not only project type work, but a lot of things that you can put on your resume because at the end of the day or your CV, that's what it's about. I know this semester in my marketing class, we worked with the chamber and we had students produce, there was 6 teams and each one of them produced a marketing kind of plan slash campaign effect for Stop Hopper in Bloomsburg. So we just got done with that and I'll be submitting them to the chamber and they'll actually review those and give feedback. So again, another real life client experience, which is great.
Yeah, and I think the idea that you walk away with a valuable degree, excellent knowledge, and also an outstanding resume, um, it is going to be powerful. Like, and you're going to need both, right? You're going to need the resume, you're going to need the practical experience, you're going to need the degree, and our MBA program is prepared to deliver on all those fronts.
We're very workforce connected. I think that's the key there. So every class you take, even if you're not in that field, you're going to feel that workforce connection. And that's very, very important because if you're managing a company, you have to know a little bit of everything. You might be, great in one area and it might be what you do, but you still, as leaders, have to have an understanding of different areas of business.
Yeah, and I think this is also what makes the course experience and the class experience really enjoyable, and what makes it different and distinct from the undergrad experience is everything is very hands-on. Like there's an expectation that you come in with certain skills and knowledge. Because when you get to the MBA, the idea is you want something different. You're building on top of that. And this is
Right.
a great approach to that. You know. And then the career options. I mean, this is by no means an exhaustive list. This is
No.
probably quite brief, but here's some of the examples of what careers could be waiting for you at some point. And that's the beauty of the MBA is it's so versatile. You can do a number of different things. It's not a generalist degree, but it still gives you a versatile variety of options from which to choose. And again, as you look at the job outlook, this is, we talked a little bit about this earlier on. This is going to be a great investment. This is a good time to be hitting the job market with an MBA. And I think every bullet point on this slide here is going to be really important for you to be considering. Dr. Mariana, did you have any information or feedback on the job outlook for students with an MBA?
I always say, areas that research the most are like GMAC, labor statistics, any of them across the board. If you look at any type of, leadership positions, executive or future executive positions, depending where you are in your career, the salary ranges are very, very, very good. And then you add, a year experience, 10 years experience, that in itself, makes that even higher. So the job outlook is very strong for business schools because remember a lot of the changes that are happening right now are very kind of technology based, right? There's a lot of growth happening right now. All the data centers, all that great stuff that's happening, we need people to lead all that. So the money is there. You could start off at really good salaries and just with a couple of years of being somewhere, not only you could probably make a move in your own company, or it sets you up to make, if you want to make a total career advancement with someone else, it just puts you in that position.
Yeah. And again, here's a very small list of where our recent alumni have moved on after they've graduated. And again, there's a number of, people who are climbing the ladder quickly and getting into really enjoyable and productive careers here from the Ziegler College of Business. And then the application and the admission process. So this is always the fun stuff. Dr. Mariani, basically, what are you looking for in a qualified applicant?
Sure. So our GPA is 2.5. You're good. If you're in the accelerated program, it is 3.0. So if you're still do not have your undergrad yet, it's a little bit higher. Letters of recommendation. I mean, really just about who you are. So whoever you ask to write about you, it's about you, your character, and that's what I like to look for and see. Your resume, what you've been doing, your transcripts, if you are a Bloomsburg student or a Mansfield or a Lock Haven student, we have them, so you don't have to worry about it. Anyone else, you would just send your official transcripts to us. There's no type of testing. The only time you would have any type of testing is if your GPA was below 2.5. And then the other thing you would have is your statement of career goals. And the biggest thing I look for is why do you want to do an MBA? Why do you want to do that? And that's what I look for. The application is completely online. So you fill out everything, including the letters of recommendations. You would just provide the emails. That person will get an email from Commonwealth and they can submit their letter. Of course, give them a heads up so they know they're getting the email. And it's very simple. It's a very streamlined process.
Yeah, and I know one of the more common questions we get, I know we talked about this a little bit earlier on, is you do not need a business degree,
No,
undergrad degree, in
absolutely.
order to apply and gain admission and be successful in the MBA program. Dr. Mariani, what are some of the more common undergrad degrees we may see students coming from outside of business?
We see a lot from communication, psychology. We have sports, believe it or not. I have a few that went on and became managing teams. I don't know what grade team, but they went on to be team managers.
Sports management, sure.
Yeah, it was sports management, but actually on like the team level, the club level. It was very interesting. I have two students I went that way. So really from all over, I get designers. We've had doctors. I've had a museum curator because I thought that one was the most neat. So they really come from anywhere. If you're thinking about leading people, starting a business, entrepreneur, any of those things, that's
Yeah.
what an MBA covers.
Yeah. And I think what's nice too is again, it's still great to come from, having a business background, but then
Mhm.
also you bring a different perspective to the program. If your undergrad degree is in sociology, or your undergrad degree is in media and journalism, or visual art, and you can oftentimes combine your undergrad experience with your grad experience
Exactly.
and kind of
Right.
go off in a different direction. So I think that makes it really, really a very powerful combination.
Mhm.
Yep. And then that gets us to the accelerated MBA. And I know this has been a really popular program. This is for students who are currently at Commonwealth U, the Bloomsburg, Lock Haven, and Mansfield campuses in particular. But could you walk us through the process for the accelerated MBA?
Yeah, the accelerated MBA, it's a pretty simple process. So you want to decide as early as possible. So if you're coming in as a freshman, sophomore, you want to start to think about it because you'd want to complete MBA classes in your senior year. Another important thing about looking at this, and I'll go into a minute, about what you need to do, but another important thing is that you can one swap classes out, depending what your undergraduate major is, minor. You could swap classes. For instance, we have marketing management at the undergrad. We have marketing management if you do a marketing concentration at the grad. That grad class can replace that undergrad class. You also can use your business electives. You also can use your free electives to do that. So you have a lot of opportunity to take 4 classes in one semester to kind of get you started. Most students do it in their last semester, their spring. They'll take 4 classes, they graduate with their bachelor's. In summer, they take another set of 4. In fall, they take a set of 4, and then they graduate with their MBA. So if you do it right, you can graduate with your MBA 2 semesters afterwards. So it goes quickly. It's basically any major, any we want senior status, but again, I would start to look into it, when you're a junior, start to really think about it, meet with me, tell your advisor, because there are a couple of things we have to do on our end. You would then need a 3.0, complete the application, which is the same material that you saw in the previous slide. And then what happens is you'll become a provisional admit. And that just means it's kind of, you have to have a B plus or higher in all your MBA classes. So you do have, you have to perform a little bit. And like I said, if you do it correctly and you align your classes correctly, you can be done 2 semesters after you complete your undergrad. So it goes very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, and time is money, right? That's part of the goal here for students who are driven and already know where what the destination is. This is going to help you get there faster. So
Mhm.
this is a great opportunity for sure. And then contact information for Dr. Mariani and myself. We are certainly always happy to help in any way. Um, and that does wrap up the presentation part, the recorded part. Dr. Mariani, before we log off, did you have any parting advice for any prospective students who may be considering the program?
Sure. I think if it's even, kind of like a little light bulb in your mind, come and talk to me, meet with me, and we'll have a good, honest talk whether it's for you. So I think that's the best place to start. We could just kind of chat about it, and just see, what you'd like to do. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yep, for sure. Well, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time. And we look forward to hearing from you in the future. We hope this is the beginning of the discussion. And if Dr. Mariani and I can be of any help, please do not hesitate to reach out. But we look forward to hearing from everybody in the future and hope everyone has a great night. Thank you.